Alright folks, it is Matthew. We are back, and I'm now going to do another case in Elite Mode while I wait for the next case to open. Which one am I going to do? Open Wounds. Case number 20 in Pacific Bay. Here we go. I know the last one I did was case 17 in Grimsboro. Hey Matthew, I'm sorry about this. I remembered I had to buy some whiskey, but I totally forgot to fill the car with gas. Yeah, I know, I really should cut down on the whiskey, otherwise my stomach is going to strike against me. Gather up the hill. Union victory, Union victory. I, Colonel Dexter Blade, on this day in 1863, will take the battle to the Confederates and win the Battle of Pacific Bay. Colonel Dexter Blade? Union? Confederates? Oh crap, Matthew. We just traveled back in time to the American Civil War. Oh, of course, Matthew. People can't travel back in time. That's just absurd. It must be a historical reenactment show. Geez, I never understood why people get the urge to dress up and reenact old historic battles. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. My name is Joe Stanford, and I will play the role of Colonel Dexter Blade. Today is the grand finale, the day the Colonel prevails. On this day, he said to his troops, I, Colonel Dexter Blade, will lead the Union to glory. May God strike me down if he chooses otherwise. Whoa. What the? Uh-oh. Either they've got amazing special effects, or... I agree, Matthew. We better have a look around the battlefield and assess the damage. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Dalmatian this time. And I'm only two levels away from upgrading my ranking. Torn napkin. Victim's body. Cannonball. There we are, corn. Not my best start, but hey, it's okay. Well, I'll be. This Joe Stanford guy got blown up. I bet this wasn't part of the script. You're right. Better get that body to autopsy. I hope Roxy enjoys construction games. What else did you pick up? A torn tissue? Well, if you think it's linked to the death, you might as well try and fix it. See what it says. And that's the cannonball that blew the victim away. There was something written on it. Looks like someone wanted to deliver a message. Well, that rules out the accidental death. You just found the murder weapon, Matthew. Loud and clear, Matthew. First order of business, retrieve the message. I'll get the powder kit. Frank gets the powder kit. I'm gonna get more stars. Sit tight. Alright, I got me some stars. I got 6. Let's get the torn napkin out of the way. Cannonball Saloon. That's not half bad, Matthew. This napkin you just fixed is from the Cannonball Saloon. It's got a note on it. Next reenactment meeting, 9 p.m. So the Civil War reenactors met at the saloon? Then our victim must have gone there. Don't say it twice, Matthew. Visiting a saloon? I'm totally in. But let's get the cannonball first. I walk slowly, but I never walk backward. Not bad, Matthew. You managed to make the message on the murder weapon visible again. So what did the killer write? I walk slowly, but I never walk backward. That's a nice one-liner, all right. But what's it got to do with the murder? Understood, Matthew. We'll just send that message to Hannah. The kid's got an answer for everything. Okay, that's 6 hours. And let's investigate the saloon. Perfect. Found anything, Matthew? Sorry, I had you do the searching and all. Happy hour at the saloon was just about to finish. I had to jump on it. Yeah, I know I should drink less, but I can't help it if you're so good at catching clues. What a nice sandwich board you found. Banned the reenactment. Seems someone wasn't happy with the proceedings. Too bad the rest of the messages faded. You think you could retrieve it? And you found a locked phone? I just hate those. If you're so eager to unlock it, you'll be on your own, Matthew. Great, thanks a lot. Let me at least get a couple more stars. Alright, I got myself 6 stars again. Let's examine the faded board. I know I'm on borrowed time with this, with my tablet being low. History for peace. It's just the logo. Good work, Matthew. There was a logo drawn under that ban the reenactment message. Let's see who wrote this. Oh, the logo just says History for Peace. You're right, it sounds like a group name. A group that protests against the reenactment. Yep, heard you loud and clear. I'll get that board to Hannah, see if she can dig up more info. Okay, that's 18 hours. I'll get the results tomorrow. Let's get to the locked phone. CEN E8A. Yes. Good for you, Matthew. Now that you've unlocked this phone, we can add it to our forensic mobile phone collection. Hey, you, give me my phone back. Why do you have it anyway? Wow, calm down. Who the hell are you, kid? I'm Gwen Stanford, and this is my phone. My dad took it from me just because he placed Colonel Blade in that reenactment thing. He's got to be all bossy, freaking lame sauce. Wait, kid, your father's Joe Stanford? You might want to sit down. Sheriff Matthew has bad news. Let's tell her about her father's death. My dad, he's dead. Oh, please, why is this happening to me? What am I gonna do, Sheriff Matthew? Everything's gonna be alright, kid. That's what a cop is supposed to do. That's what a cop is supposed to say in such circumstances. Am I right, Matthew? Of course, Frank. I can't believe the last thing we fought about is my phone. He kept saying it was an anachronism or something. He dwelled on the past too much. That's the thing. He knew how important my phone was to me. Why would he take it away? I'd just die if I couldn't update FriendNet for more than 2 days. You know what I mean? The truth is, I think Dad loved the Civil War era and his reenactment thing more than he ever loved me. I'm going to let these 3 run their courses. So for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright folks, we're back. I let everything run their courses, so let's get the results of the victim's body first. Hey folks, next time you bring me a corpse, try and bring it in one piece. I had to sew the poor guy back together for almost 3 hours. Poor Roxy, we had you working extra hours. Don't worry, I'll take you out for happy hour when all of this is over. First round's on me. You got it, Frank. Well, anyway, Joe Stanford here was a Jazztown native and apparently never wore anything other than the Union Army uniform. Cause of death is obvious. You were there to see it. The cannonball smashed the guy like a crash test dummy. And speaking of happy hour, I found loads of mint julep residues all over the victim's wounds. It's as if the killer baptized the cannonball with it. I haven't sensed one of those in a very long time. You're right, Matthew. At least we know the killer drinks mint juleps. Wait, I found this too. Bits of splintered wood embedded into the victim's skin. Thought you might be interested, Matthew. Thanks, Roxy. You know that anything you get to Matthew, they will turn into a new clue. Your biggest fan, Wayne Billings. Nice going, Matthew. Those metal scraps Roxy found clustered inside Joe Stanford's body were actually an old compass. There's a note engraved on it. Your biggest fan, Wayne Billings. That Wayne guy must have given the compass to Joe as a gift. Understood, Matthew. Let's go find this Wayne Billings. About the compass he gave to the victim? This is such sad news. Joe Stanford gone? Who will be in charge of the reenactment show now? It was such a great show. The reenactment was the best opportunity to learn the history of the Civil War while enjoying a fantastic show. It was so realistic. This is why I admired Joe so much. Thanks to his efforts, all the kids know what Colonel Dexter Blade did from Pacific Bay. He was the bravest. Well, if Joe was such a hero, why would someone kill him? Well, even though it's old history, the Civil War is a topic that still stirs tensions even today. People like Joe help us understand the past, but our vision of the past is maybe not to everyone's liking. That sure doesn't bode well for the future. Cannonball message. The quote you revealed on the murder weapon sounded familiar, Matthew. I thought it was from Battlestar Wars Season 2, Episode 9, but in fact it's from Abraham Lincoln. I walk slowly, but I never walk backward. President Abe was one hell of a wordsmith, all right. Oh, but you're right. Of course it's Lincoln. What was I thinking? My grandpa used to drop this quote every time he told me about the Civil War. Well, the person who engraved this message on the cannonball is clearly good on Abraham Lincoln's writings, too. Thanks for the history class, Hannah. Matthew, now we know our killer reads Abraham Lincoln. Board logo now. I'm done processing the sandwich board you sent me, Matthew. I didn't know you and Frank have become anti-war activists. That's very funny, kid. How about less stupid jokes and more worky, huh? Alright. I found out what the History for Peace printed on the board stands for. It's an anti-war program run by Harriet Davis, the local school teacher. Roger that, Matthew. Clearly this Harriet Davis had a hang-up about the victim and his reenactment. Let's go find her. And she looks pretty pissed. Hello, Mrs. Davis. I reckon you've heard about Joe Stanford's death. He was the head honcho of the Civil War Reenactment Club. And judging from the sandwich board Sheriff Matthew found outside the Cannonball Saloon, you had declared war on the reenactment. War? I've been fighting against the glorification of war since college. This country is ensnared in its culture of war and violence, and things must change now. And isn't Joe Stanford's death the proof that war is dangerous? He wanted to play war, see where that got him. Well, hopefully he will not have died in vain. Maybe people will finally realize that such celebrations shouldn't exist. Well, Matthew, what do we know so far about Joe Stanford's murder, except that it happened right here, on this battlefield? It seems Wayne Billings will genuinely miss our victim. He was a real fan. He even gave Joe a vintage compass. However, the local school teacher, Harriet Davis, loathes anything war-related. She even campaigned against the reenactment. Everyone needs a hobby, right? Let's not forget the victim had a daughter, Gwen Stanford, and she didn't seem to love the past as much as he did. Can you hear something, Matthew? Like a small whooshing noise? Boom. Holy jeez. What was that? We'll find out what that was in Chapter 2. Alright folks, we're back. Let's start Chapter 2 of Open Wounds in Elite Mode. Let's recap, Matthew. Joe Stanford was killed on this battlefield while he was reenacting a Civil War battle. We also know... Wait, can you hear that, Matthew? Like a small whooshing noise? Boom. Take cover, Matthew. Someone's shooting at us with a cannon. The blast came from that estate up there. You're right. Let's go see who shot at us. I'm right behind you. Phew, that hill was steep. Let me catch my breath, Matthew. Move away. I'm about to shoot a second salve. I, Veronica Blade, will honor my end. Whoa, crazy gorgeous lady. Nobody's going to shoot a cannon again today. You almost hit Sheriff Matthew. Oh, well, I wasn't aiming at you, Sheriff Matthew. I shoot the cannon every year to pay homage to my ancestor and his triumph over the Confederates. Your ancestor? Wait a minute. You said your name was Veronica Blade? You're right, Matthew. That's the name of the Civil War officer our victim was playing, Colonel Blade. Miss, we'll need to have a word with you. See, the guy who was playing your ancestor was shot with a cannonball earlier today, and we don't believe in coincidences. Alright, Sheriff Matthew's got a point. We'll also need to have a look around your property. Let's talk to Veronica Blade first. Mrs. Blade, if you're done handling your cannon, we'd like to talk about the death of Joe Stanford, who played the role of your ancestor, Colonel Dexter Blade. It's Miss Blade, not Mrs. I haven't found a gentleman eligible enough to take me to the altar yet. And how dare you come here to badger me about Joe Stanford, that raccoon-faced carpetbagger. I may own all the land in Jazztown, but without family honor, I have nothing. And that reenactment stamped all over my honor. When I looked up from my usual breakfast this morning, a double mint julep, I saw Joe Stanford pretending to be my grandpapa. I nearly fainted. Stanford wasn't worthy of playing my ancestor. Hell, he wasn't even worthy of playing a slit servant. Oh gosh, Matthew, this Veronica is something else. Fierce, gorgeous, shooting cannons, a woman after my own heart. Of course, Matthew. I'm perfectly impartial about our suspects. On we go. Faded paper. Credit card. Joe Stanford's credit card, I think it said. Come on, Matthew. We're in the poshest place ever, and all you could pick up is a faded piece of paper? I know you're going to retrieve some crucial info from there, but still. Ah, that one's better. A credit card with our victim's name on it. Half of the numbers are illegible, but with that brain of yours, it shouldn't be too hard to decipher them, right? Let's do it now. Not so bad, Matthew. Now you retrieve the missing numbers from the victim's credit card. I guess we'll give it to Hannah as a treat. "24 hours. Okay. Faded paper now. Wow. A reenactment enlistment form. Wayne Billings refused as Union officer. Alright, Matthew, so what's this boring piece of paper about? It's an enlistment form for the reenactment club to participate in their fake Civil War. Hey, you're right. Wayne Billings. That's the name of one of our suspects. Didn't he tell us he was a huge fan of the victim? Doesn't seem like it was mutual. The form clearly shows his application for playing a Union officer was refused. This refusal must have been a major downer for him. He already had the Union uniform. He was born ready for this gig. You're right. We gotta go ask Wayne about this. Why he was denied access? Wayne, Sheriff Matthew found out Joe wouldn't let you play a Union officer in his reenactment show. Is there a specific reason? Specific reason? Yes, there is one, alright. He wouldn't let me join the reenactment because I'm black. Yeah, you heard me. All I wanted was to play a regular Union trooper, but to him I was only good for cannon fodder, just like in the real Civil War. The blacks did all the dirty jobs back then, digging trenches, clearing trees, and when it came to battle, they were put first in line. That's against everything Abraham Lincoln believed in. Geez, I like Joe, you know. We used to drink mint juleps together at the Cannonball. I expected so much better from him. I'll let the credit card number run its course, and I'm going to get the remaining stars right now. See you soon. Alright folks, it is Matthew. We are back. Let's get the result. I'm going to speed up the credit card number. It's only going to cost me 4. I'm done processing the victim's credit card, Matthew. First thing you need to know is the credit card was used after he died. After he died? You mean even in death, Joe remains a shopaholic? The purchase was mostly burgers and ice cream, bought at the Cannonball Saloon. It sounds like a teenager stuffing their face. A teenager? You're right, Matthew. Chances are it was the victim's teenage daughter, Gwen Stanford. I guess we're due for another chat with her. And we'll stop at the saloon for another look. This goes without saying.
Now finally we can make all our dreams come true. Isn't that terrible? Well, he's written catchier stuff, but I wouldn't call it terrible.
I'm going to investigate the crime scene first.
For a literary critique, you dweeb. Carol gets out on the 21st. That's tomorrow. But isn't that great news? Then you can finally meet him. I don't want to meet him. Come here, the man's a convict. Oh, so Blanche's pen pal is getting out. Gee, that's going to be rough. I bet after 10 years in the junk, he's going to be pretty short on foreplay.
Hey, let's see what we got. Ah, old camera.
He's coming over. Why? You think the man went to prison for free coveralls and some male bonding? TV.
I cannot believe that Nick was a dangerous criminal. I mean, you've read his letters. sure he's a real gentleman.
Why would you want to go to the saloon if it's not for a drink, Matthew? And you got us another faded document. There's a reenactment logo on this paper, and it looks like there used to be something else written, and I know just the person to retrieve it. It's all yours, Matthew. As for this old camera, you'll have to unlock that padlock before you can take a picture of the two of us.
Blanche isn't here, and she won't be back for a long, long time. That's right. I've been in prison 10 years.
Faded document, or the faded map, I should say. Aha.
Those were lovely letters that you wrote to Blanche.
Great work, Matthew. Thanks to your skills, you can see this document is the reenactment routine map, and someone made some changes at the last minute. That pawn looks just like our victim. You're right. And look, the cannon was moved to point right at him. But why? Oh, you're right. The one who made the changes on this map must be the killer. You seriously want to send the map to Russell? Well, I guess if the killer left psychotic pheromones on it, Russell will manage to sniff them out. Okay, 24 hours. Let's examine the old camera now.
No, that's right. I mean, she could be gone for hours, days. I mean, it could be weeks before she gets back.
We're back. Oh, we found some terrific bargains. Mary, why don't you go try something on and show Dorothy and Sophia? Well, Sunday, you didn't tell me you were expecting company.
This is Merrill.
Great, you got the padlock open on that old camera. Now we can take a picture. Ah, of course, you actually wanted to have a look inside. This faded picture might be interesting, I guess.
Just explaining to Merrill.
Really, Matthew? You think someone might have taken a picture of our victim with that thing? Well, I guess you're going to have to try and make it reappear then.
She's not your type. That's right, she isn't. She's very cold, frigid, hard to locksmith.
Faded picture.
And she's ugly, isn't she? Ugly is a pretty strong word. And wrinkled, isn't she? She is not.
Aha.
Just stop right now. She's not.
Hey, that's our victim in the picture. You can recognize his hat. But who's the other guy? He looks a bit beside himself. And yes, you're right, he's holding a Confederate's flag. The Confederates wanted to secede from Abraham Lincoln's Union. This is how the Civil War began. And if this guy played a Confederate, that means he was our victim's enemy. You say you could find this guy's profile just by comparing his features in our database? You never missed the opportunity to show off, Matthew.
Why do I cook? Because I make the best chicken noodle soup.
Because I make the best chicken noodle soup.
Because I make the best chicken noodle soup.
For every way you make chicken noodle soup, make it delicious with Swanson.
Unknown suspect.
Fast heartburn relief? Try Cool Mix and sensation in Zantac works in as little as 30 minutes. Next time,
Ah.
try Cool Mix Zantac. No relief heartburn faster.
Not all wrinkles are the same. Some wrinkles are the wrinkles. You look sad. Your vitamin formula even fights the appearance of tough.
Aha. Stanley Bullock.
Plus firm skin.
You did it, Matthew. You figured out who was posing with our victim in this picture. So the guy's name is Stanley Bullock, and he was clearly playing a Confederate soldier in the reenactment. I agree, Confederates and Union were enemies during the Civil War, so we'd better go find this Stanley at once.
Do you think it's Christian mail or something we don't know?
About the argument he had? Stanley Bullock, Sheriff Matthew here found this picture of you and Joe Stanford. You two don't seem to be getting along really well. Sheer irony. Joe worshipped Colonel Blade for winning the Battle of Pacific Bay when in truth Blade was killed on the battlefield. And that's why you killed Joe Stanford? To make it fit with your version of history? No. I'm just saying the Union may have won the war, but they didn't win the Battle of Pacific Bay. And if you had read Lincoln's writings, like I said, you'd have noticed loopholes in what he pretends to be true. He was the perfect obscurantist. You're pretty intense on this topic, Bullock. Why don't you just tell us what you were doing when the victim was shot? I was just playing my part. I didn't see who ignited the cannon, but now the show's over, I might as well stay home and sip a mint julep. About the theft of her father's credit card. Look, kid, I know you must be feeling sad with your father gone and all, but couldn't you just wait a bit before taking his credit card? What's it to you that I had some junk food with my dad's card? He just died, okay? I can have a mint julep in his memory if I want to. Mint julep? Aren't you a little young for that, kid? You sound just like my dad. I've been drinking since junior high. I would steal Mrs. Davis's flask. She had a soft spot for mint juleps. When my old man was around, I wasn't allowed any burgers. The only thing I got was rice and bean rations. Talk about child abuse. And he had just decided we would live with no electricity. Like forever. No FriendNet, no junk food, no proper clothes. Who did he think I was, his slave? What a snotty brat. She reminds me of my daughters. Always gotta go all drama queen about everything. Of course, for all I know, they might have changed. I haven't seen them in ages. I'll let the map run its course, and I'll see you for that. Alright folks, this is Matthew. We are back. Let's get the results of the routine map from Russell. The things you can tell about a killer when you're given their belongings. This routine map you found in the saloon gave loads of valuable information. Changing the reenactment routine at the last minute was a very cunning move and terribly effective. What do you mean? The cannon was just put in front of Joe and boom! What's so sophisticated about it? The sophisticated part comes with the grid that's printed over the map. It has an 8x8 squares grid, 64 squares, just like a chessboard. Clearly, you're dealing with a schemer, someone familiar with numbers, who likes to think they control other people like pawns on a grid. The killer even wrote E2, B2 to describe the cannon movement, and that move is Chess Strategy 101. So you can write that down, Matthew. It's Russell Crane approved. Your killer plays chess. Please. Matthew, you better write this down. Russell Crane is a total bragger.
I know that because all the pictures on my wall are strange.
Matthew, why don't we take a break? This is way too much work for a hard-ass career officer like me. And between us, a man needs his drink. Oh yeah, sure, we better recap all the info we've gathered so far. I was just coming to it, I swear. We got to meet the gorgeous Veronica Blade, who seemed annoyed by the victim's poor impersonation of her ancestor, Colonel Dexter Blade. As for Stanley Bullock, he had an argument with Joe over who won the Battle of Pacific Bay. Wayne Billings is another story. Joe refused to have him play the role of a Union officer just because he was black. Now let's relax for a bit, Matthew. Enjoy some silence. Sheriff Matthew, I need you on the field right now. The Confederates are attacking. What do you mean attacking? They're actually at war? And we'll get to Chapter 3 after this. Alright folks, we're back. Let's start Chapter 3 of Open Wounds in Elite Mode. Sheriff Matthew, I need you on the field right now. The Confederates are attacking. Oh, Andrea, Matthew and I are having a quiet moment out here. Snap out of it, Frank. Stanley Bullock has gathered all the Confederates from the reenactment and they're pointing their cannons towards the Blades estate. Oh boy, Matthew, now Jill Stanford is dead. They don't just want to reenact the Civil War, they want to revive it. I got your back, Matthew. We gotta go bring Bullock to some kind of sane. Understood. We should also reinvestigate the Blades estate, just to make sure they haven't destroyed anything.
It's just that your dates usually end with a little
friends to understand that I'm just not ready yet. But Blanche, the doctor said you could do everything you did before. That's all very well for him to say. The doctor's not me.
Take a look at my cards first. I got an ace of hearts. That'll bring me up to 21.
Blanche Devereaux has given up.
Let's stop Stanley Bullock from doing something stupid.
And what does that do to the
Show's over, Dumbo. Lower your weapon now or Sheriff Matthew will box you in. I won't be stopped. I will finally expose the truth. Dexter Blade never won the Battle of Pacific Bay. The Confederates did. Now Joe's dead. I'll be in charge of the reenactment show. I'll use chess logic to rewrite every routine. It will be accurate at last. Because there's nothing more important than history, you hear me? Colonel Blade's myth must be destroyed, along with his plantation house. It's a disgrace to the truth, to America. You know as much about history as I know about computers, Bullock. How about a stay behind bars so you can calm down a bit? How does that grab you?
I'm very proud to make dog children.
As I unlock the next crime scene, you're going to notice something a little different. My ranking will go up from number 9 to at least number 2 or 3, but as you can see, I'm going with the Dalmatian this time. I'm going to try something different.
Velveeta and Hotel. It's a local liquidator flooring sale. Stock North American and European laminate is 10 to 20% off. Get pre-finished hardwood for just 99 cents. 20% off wood look tile. Great deals on vinyl plank, bamboo, and 18-month special financing. Get to your local liquidators today. It's worth the trip.
Cheese, seal, roasted, sliced, new, carved, roasted, perfectly paired, perfectly served, and stuff just 10.
Stack of weapons. Fishnet. There you are.
I did everything I could to make
All right.
the party perfect.
Almost everything.
I hope Miss Blade didn't see you search her property, Matthew. I don't want her to think we're wanderers. Anyway, what did you pick out? Fancy that. A heap of old rifles and pistols. Agreed, Matthew. We should search through it. I've always been fond of vintage weapons. I'm tempted to say this faded bill is completely useless, but if you manage to recover the ink on it, I may think otherwise.
What's the American look? Bold lashes in one simple step. New Almay One Coat Multi-Benefit Mascara.
Well, let's do it now.
Length and definition. Plus keratin. Bring out your natural beauty. Almay, the American look.
What's going on?
Torn paper. Only you could find a heap of torn papers hidden among rifles, Matthew. You say there's something special about this paper? Well, you're the one who leads here, Matthew, so if you'd like to fix it, be my guest.
Hydroxycut, America's #1 selling weight loss supplement brand, has helped millions of people lose weight over 20 years. Start Hydroxycut today. I feel amazing. Hydroxycut really works.
Good morning, ladies. Dorothy, a popsicle stick purse for you. Sophia, a popsicle stick potpourri box. And Heroes, 2 lovely popsicle stick earrings.
So, how are we enjoying our celibacy?
Oh, just let me get a popsicle. I'll be right with you. Blanche, I'm worried that you're
16.
going to read the popsicle. How am I going to get to the stick?
Now that's something else, Matthew. That paper you just restored is an invitation to rifle shooting courses. Oh boy, you're right. This invitation was sent to Harriet Davis, the school teacher we met earlier. Same here, Matthew. I can't see Mrs. Peace on Earth taking her class to a shooting session. Let's go ask her about this.
I don't know what to expect of myself with this thing in me. I just keep remembering how we're not supposed to overload electrical outlets.
About the rifle shooting invite?
Shouldn't make love when you're wet.
Mrs. Davis, Sheriff Matthew found this invitation. Did Joe Sanford invite your class to a rifle shooting session?
It's best.
You should have left that invitation where you found it, Sheriff Matthew. I tore it right in front of Joe's horrible rat face. You came to my school and pinned this invitation right in the middle of the playground so all the kids would see it. Is there no shame? And of course the kids begged me to take them to the rifle shooting. I was supposed to teach them chess instead, but that Stanford dunce corrupted them with his weapons. What would Abraham Lincoln think of all this? Who's going to read his writings like I used to? Kids, they just don't read books anymore.
I can't believe it. Blanche has gone without for 2 weeks. I mean, that's like Raymond Burr saying no gravy.
What do you think's the matter with her? Maybe when she had that out-of-body experience, she can get back in all the way.
There we are. Alright, so you retrieved our victim's name on this repair quote sheet. I still think it's just luck. Uh-oh, someone asked Joe and his club for a huge sum of money. They're claiming $50,000 worth of repairing costs. Agreed, Matthew. We need to know who issued this document. Let's send it to Hannah. I'm pretty sure she can have access to the Bay Area bank files. Okay, 18 hours. And I'll see you guys for when this thing runs its course. Alright folks, it is Matthew. We are back. Let's get the results of the repair quote. You know, you could have asked Chief Marquez for a warrant so the Bay Area Bank would give you the name of the person who issued this receipt, right? Speak no evil, kid. Paperwork and Andrea equals stress. And besides, where's the fun in that? Well, you gotta be glad I could hack into the Bay Area bank servers. I got what you wanted. Veronica Blade issued this document. Veronica Blade? She filed for a repair quote? What a little Scroogey, as if she needed that money with her big fancy estate. Actually, I also had a look at her account, and it turns out the lady is broke. The mansion is all she's got left, and it's a money pit. Veronica's broke? Well, she surely knows how to save appearances. But you're right, Matthew, we're due for another chat with her. Give me a sec, Matthew. A little sip helped me keep my wits about me while we talk to her. About the repair quote she filed? Sheriff Matthew, it's so nice to see you again. And can I just say you have the look of Abe Lincoln about you, Detective Knight? I'm reading his biography. It's fascinating. My mom did all I say I should be president. Anyway, Miss Blade, why did you ask Joe Stanford for $50,000? Joe and his troops damn near ruined the place. This house has played host to kings and presidents, and he turned it into a hog pen. They dug up my lawns, poisoned my goldfish, and turned the cherry orchard into a shooting range. It's not about the expense, it's the dishonor. You don't have to pretend, Miss Blade. We know you're broke. We know you filed this repair quote to Joe because you needed the money. My, you certainly snooped, Sheriff Matthew. As a strategic chess player, I should have foreseen this move. But you're right. Joe Stanford ruined my estate, and the worst thing is he refused to pay me. I'm broker than an honest man in Congress. Now get out. Hey, hope you don't mind, Matthew. I need a sip before we recap. Clearly, Stanley Bullock is missing a few marbles, and now that Joe's dead, he can be the leader of the reenactment club. It seems he wanted this more than anything else. Harriet Davis, the schoolteacher, hated Joe for having her kids carrying real rifles just for fun. All in all, we need to keep in mind she hates everything war-related. And what do you think of Veronica, Matthew? Do you think she could have killed Stanford because he owed her money? Gotta say, she may be penniless, but she hasn't lost her looks. Frank, if you're wasting time daydreaming about suspects, I'm guessing you caught Joe Stanford's killer? Oh, hey, Andrea. Well, we've almost caught the killer, right, Matthew? Go back to where you found the victim and search the whole area. I want the killer apprehended before the sun goes down. I'm counting on you, Sheriff Matthew, because apparently Frank can't think straight when a lady is around. Apparently not.
Introducing today's contestant, a research associate from Brampton, Ontario, Canada, Salmia Mayapin, an author and educator from Los Angeles, California, Ken Dorsey, and our returning champion, a writer and editor from Deer Park, Texas, Rachel Zahn, whose two-day cash winnings total $17,500.
Minute, folks.
Formaggio is this?
All right.
Samir? Correct.
Italian for 4.
Dieci is this perfect number? Samir?
What is 10?
Yes.
Italian for 6, please.
That calzone will knock your calzini these off.
8.
Samir?
What are socks?
Yes.
Italian for 8.
You look lovely in verde. This color. 10. What is green? Check. Italian 1,000, please. Making reservations for 8 p.m. and
There we are.
Good evening. Samir?
Bonacera.
Buonasera. Yes. Taking you to 4,200 and us into our first commercial break. Back in a moment.
Wait, Matthew, what's a chess box doing in the middle of our crime scene? Oh, you're right. We know the killer used chess strategy to set up the cannon on our victim, so the odds are good that this chess box belongs to them. Let's search inside it. And I know what that thing is, Matthew. It's a wooden quadrant. It was used by Civil War gunners to check the elevation of a cannon so it can't miss its target. Hey, I know things about topics and stuff. What did you think? But you're right, Matthew. The killer must have used this quadrant to aim the cannon towards the victim. We should give it a closer look. Oh, let's examine it right now. A lighter. Gotta say, Matthew, the more I think about it, the more I think you had flair picking up this chest box. Found anything inside it? A lighter? Interesting. I'll get it to Jan. Sheriff Matthew, the noose is tightening around the killer. I can feel it. $856 more until I am up another ranking and another level. Wooden quadrant now. There's a stain on it too.
His patient picked up the virus. Plus, Hawaii's Republican leaders worry Trump could damage the party. Both sides at 5 right here on KGMG.
13. Nice catch, Matthew. You managed to isolate some white fibers off that wooden quadrant the killer used to aim the cannon towards our victim. Yeah, I know the drill, Matthew. We'll let Jan be the judge on that piece. Let's just ship it off to the precinct. And that's 18 hours. And I'll let these two run their courses. For now, this is Matthew. See you then.
That's right.
Alright, folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the white fibers. I'm done analyzing the white fibers you isolated from the killer's wooden quadrant, Matthew.
Wednesday at 10 on Sundance TV. Catch it now on Sundance TV platforms.
Turns out it was cotton, but not industrial. It was pure, unrefined cotton. I'm 100% positive it came from a fresh cotton flower. Cotton? That makes sense. Jazztown is full of cotton farms, right? My grandpa used to say that. Production went on even after slavery got banned. The thing is, there haven't been cotton fields in Jazztown for decades, Frank. All yarn production was relocated to Asia, and the mills are now closed. Which means the cotton can't have come from general surroundings. It must have come from the person who handled the quadrant, and that is the killer. That's one more asset we got against the killer. We know they're wearing a cotton flower.
If the grand jury indict, all bets are off.
And I'll speed up the lighter.
Martin wants a free ride.
You follow the right trail, Matthew. The lighter you found inside the chest box did belong to the killer. I isolated some soot from the lighter, and it matches the soot from the cannonball used to kill Joe Stanford. You see those marks on the lighter's ignition? It shows it backfired when the killer used it. And believe me, that blast was so powerful that the killer's clothes must still be covered with soot. Matthew, the killer can't escape us now. We need to gun for suspects with soot on their clothes. Looks like our job here is done, Matthew. You've compiled enough evidence to determine who murdered Joe Stanford. I'll let you take the lead on this. I'm looking forward to seeing how this unfolds.
When I got home, Uncle Joseph was there. I found out he and Allison's grandmother had paid a doctor to come from Egypt to do this operation. They were going to cut out Allison's clitoris.
It is Harriet Davis. Class dismissed, Mrs. Davis. Sheriff Matthew figured it all out. You've been a very naughty teacher. You killed Joe Stanford. Me killing Joe Stanford? How ludicrous. Now, if you don't mind, I've got work to do. Cut the crap, Davis. You went to the battlefield and shot the cannon at Joe. Sheriff Matthew discovered you schemed the whole thing using chess strategy. Complete nonsense. You know I abhor everything war-related. Do you seriously think I could have killed someone with a cannon? Come on. Matthew even found you toasted to Stanford's death with a mint julep. It was all over the cannonball that hit him. Well, I can see you've been doing your homework, Sheriff Matthew. I admit it. I'm the one who killed that rat-faced dunce. I had to protect my pupils from this evil menace. For the sake of future generations and to preserve the history of this country. I've got nothing to atone for. I know I did the right thing. Well, it's detention time for you, Teach. In other words, you're under arrest. Mrs. Davis? You killed someone at the reenactment show? Why would you do this? I was about to take my granddaughter there. Joe Stanford had to die. This reenactment was bad enough, but when he corrupted my class with his rifle shooting courses, that was the last straw. Yes, but you don't know my granddaughter. She is fascinated by the Civil War and was really keen on me taking her there. Oh dear, what am I going to do now? Take her to Bunnybot Land? Sounds boring just thinking about it. She would much rather like a war-themed park. What? You approve of kids playing war? Now that's why this country is in decline. We need to get rid of this culture of violence. We are so fascinated with weapons and wars that we are forgetting our true history, just like Stanford forgot the real reason the Civil War broke out. This war should be remembered for its real purposes. It wasn't about violence, it was about preserving the Union and bringing freedom to slaves. My own ancestor was a slave, and he joined the United States colored troops. He did all the dirty jobs the whites wouldn't. And for what? Cheap entertainment like this reenactment? I wish we had not such a violent history, Mrs. Davis, but history helps us make laws, and the law is the same for everyone. That's 20 years in county jail for you. It is true we may need to know about the past to foresee the future, Matthew, but how can we avoid making the same mistakes? Look at Harriet. She just wanted to protect the children from the influence of war, but she ended up murdering someone. One could argue that history is always written by the victors, or that peace was paid at a high price, but at least the Civil War helped us stand as one united nation. I knew you'd agree with me, Matthew. Let's drink to that.
Sometimes you don't get to wear the white hat. Miss Ross filed a petition of family court.
Take a look at the other ones first. Gwen Stanford cleared early. Wayne Billings almost made the cut. He doesn't play chess. Veronica Blade doesn't have sooted clothing. Stanley Bullock, no cotton. It was the school teacher, Harriet Davis. I'll see you guys for the additional investigation. Alright folks, it is Matthew. We are back. Let's start the additional investigation of open wounds. Well, Matthew, another job well done, if I may say so myself. Say, what about we check on Veronica Blade? She's not exactly a damsel in distress with her cannon and all, but she might still need help. Frank, you had better not be harassing suspects. I won't tolerate it. Matthew, I have a favor to ask of you. I'm worried about Jan. He's been working overtime ever since we've arrived in Jazztown, and it's not on current investigations. I would like you to... Oh, Matthew, thank God you're here. Jan has dropped his kids into my lap, asked me to take care of them, but I don't know how to deal with them. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's not like Jan to abandon his kids like that. Amy, do you know where he went? I'm sorry, he didn't tell me, but wait, I saw him drop something into his trash can over there. Matthew, I'll let you handle this. This trash can might help us figure out what Jan's been up to. Let me know when you found something. Psst, Matthew, when you're done with this, I'll be waiting for you at the Blades estate so we can talk to Veronica.
In small, closed societies, order and harmony are more important than individual desires or fulfillment. Promiscuity and infidelity are considered destructive forces. Female circumcision is seen as a stabilizing factor. When done humanely, there's no pain, no complications.
Firstly, need to go there. Beer coaster. So, Matthew, did you find any clue as to Jan's whereabouts in this trash can? A beer coaster from the Cannonball Saloon? And you're sure it's not coming from Frank? Oh, there's a message on it. You're right. First lead. Need to go there. Perfect. Let's go have a look at the saloon. Maybe Jan is still there.
You go to court, you lose. Eric Martin goes home. You still make your point.
This is how lenders saw me. In my 20s, I was super irresponsible with credit cards. Shopping, going out all the time. I knew it was time for Experian. They gave me the tools to see what helps and hurts my FICO score, so I could finally get serious about managing my credit. Now lenders see me
Here we go.
I am. Someone who would never rack up a lot of debt. And someone who would never follow a band on tour. Get serious about your credit. Get Experian. Go to Experian.com and start your credit tracker trial membership today.
Millions have switched and discovered the Sprint tablet really is faster. Plus, it's more reliable with better coverage than ever. To celebrate, we're extending our offer so you can save 50%
an audio tape.
rates from Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile.
I'm done with pill anxiety.
Okay.
You can cover your cost to switch up to $6.50 per line.
Matthew, I can't see Jan anywhere. Have you found anything? What is this tape doing here? It's from official police files. This should never leave the station. Could Jan have taken this tape out? It's not like him to disregard police procedures.
And hard to resist. Try it free at ConstantContact.com.
You're right, Matthew. Let's first try and retrieve what was written on the tape.
And this is Dream States.
Do you have trouble falling asleep? Do you toss and turn all night, wake up with a sore neck or headache? Then it's time you discover mine.
Interview puppeteer suspect number 19.
Just like you, I
I can't believe it! Interview puppeteer suspect number 19? This is part of the old records on the puppeteer serial killer. The puppeteer killed many people around Jazztown more than a decade ago. It was a gruesome affair. Oh, you have heard of it, Matthew? Did you know that Jan's parents were among the puppeteer's victims? Jan was only a teenager at the time. Dozens of suspects were interviewed. The police pursued every lead, but they never caught the killer. Good idea, Matthew. Let's get this tape to Russell. This sounds like his area of expertise.
the National Sleep Foundation. To celebrate, I'm giving you a very special offer. Go to MyPillow.com or call now to order one of my pillows. When you do, I'll give you a second one absolutely free.
Other pillows go flat, causing you to fold them over or use
12 hours.
which can cause pain. Hard foam pillows can raise your head too
Let's see
high.
what Veronica needs.
Very uncomfortable. But the
Sheriff Matthew, I found myself in a bit of a pickle. I want to take over the reenactment, but my penny jar's run itself dry. Folks here need a reminder of the fact that my family built Jazztown from the ground up. But since Joe Stanford's death, we ain't got a rummy to play the part of my ancestor, Colonel Blade. Oh, Sheriff, what do you reckon we do? Please don't cry. I've never really taken an acting class, but Sheriff Matthew is right. I guess I could give the part a try. Now ain't that divine? A dapper feller like you? That would just be the cherry on the pie. You go and find yourself a nice unionist uniform fit for a colonel. One that's accurate, you hear me? Then I'll teach you the lines, sugar. Well, that was unexpected, Matthew. Got myself a part in an off-Broadway production. Sticker all you want, but I may be the next great actor of the century. All I need is a stinking uniform. You think we'll find one back at the battlefield? Let's hope you're right. Okay, let's investigate the battlefield. I gotta get this done quickly.
May the Lord make his face to shine upon you.
The public school uniform is very good. We've checked it out thoroughly. Allison could transfer anytime. What other activities would be available? Hiking. We have a couple of horses. There's a pool in town. Why do you think Allison would be better off with her husband? Well, we don't plan to mutilate her. How old are you with your husband?
There we are.
I'm 67. Harry is 71. Reasonably so. Harry does chores every morning. I do aerobic exercise.
Just our luck, Matthew. This uniform is torn to shreds. Can you help me piece it back together?
Yes. The blockage is not recurred.
And isn't it true, Mrs. Martin, that you have a
Now I'm up to 300.
Parkinson's disease?
Yes. I don't have it.
But you might.
Runner. She might get hit by a bus and survive it.
Promoted to Ranger. Now you can call me Ranger Matthew. I like the sound of that.
I look out for Allison. I make sure no harm comes to her.
When you found out Allison had a boyfriend and was using makeup...
Uh-oh. Hold on.
Was that a station?
Sorry, guys. Problem with the internet tab. But let's piece together this outfit.
Must have held you down. Who did that? My mother
Perfect.
and my aunt. And who performed the surgery?
So you fixed that uniform, eh? Give yourself a pat on the back because I won't give you one.
Explain to you they were...
I'm kidding. Anyway, Miss Veronica says she wanted a uniform that's accurate, but how can we make sure? History was a snore, so I never paid attention. You're right, best send this to the lab.
Everything here. The magazines. The television. It's all sex.
I'll let these two run their courses, and I'll see you for them.
Prostitutes. Schoolgirls having...
Alright, folks, we're back. Let's get the results of the police interview. Matthew, thank you for bringing this puppeteer tape to me. Those records are closed. I haven't been able to access them. The tape records the interview of one of the suspects, a certain Stanley Bullock. Quite a feisty fellow. Stanley Bullock? Matthew, wasn't he a suspect in your investigation? Well, years ago, Stanley was spotted near one of the crime scenes created by the puppeteer, which led to his questioning. He was later proved innocent, though. Matthew, I agree. If Jan has listened to this tape, he must have gone to see Stanley. Let's go talk to Mr. Bullock.
Wheat and rice. I wouldn't want to feed them that stuff.
What about brand K?
Corn gluten. Chicken byproduct. Okay, what am I really giving you?
Which brand is Brand J?
See, blue. Okay, that makes sense.
Brand L.
Oh, wow, that's surprising. Okay.
Alright, so brand K is...
About the puppeteer investigation?
Find out now at compareblue.com.
Oh yes, I seen that man. He questioned me as if I were a criminal. And all this about that dreadful puppeteer investigation. I can't believe I'm still a suspect in all this. You're not. And I'm sorry if the officer's behavior was not entirely professional. The man badgered me, wanted to know if I may have seen the actual serial killer. I told him what I told the other inspectors years ago. I was just heading home. I had no idea a crime had been committed meters away from where I stood. Well, do not worry, Mr. Bullock. Mr. Toussaint will not bother you again. Thank you, Ranger Matthew. Here are some vouchers so you can buy some of our reenactment paraphernalia. Oh, thank you very much. This isn't like Jan to go out and rough up people, and we still don't know where he is. I'm here, Chief. Sorry for all this. Jan, Ranger Matthew's been looking everywhere for you. What were you thinking, going rogue like this? What if Mr. Bullock had filed a complaint? I know, I'm sorry. Matthew, you know that my parents were killed by the puppeteer when I was a teenager. I said I'd come back to Jazztown to face my past, but that's not all there is. I've come back to fix it. Fix it? Jan, are you saying you intend to solve the puppeteer murders? Yes, I'm sure there must have been something in the investigation that was overlooked. Some clue that we could pick up even now. That's why I took the tape and interrogated Stanley. I'm trying to find a new lead. I'm sure the puppeteer is still out there somewhere. Well, I can't say I'm happy knowing that such a dangerous individual is still at large. Jan, we'll help you with your investigation, but for that you need to trust Ranger Matthew, to trust all of us. That's what a team is for.
For Pete's sake, didn't you pull pranks at that age? Pranks? Yeah, but I never threatened to kill any cops or say I wanted to.
Results of the uniform? So Frank, Matthew tells me you're trying to help to impress Veronica Blade with this uniform. Am I sensing a little crush? I'm just trying to help a lady out. She's got nothing left but her pride in her town and her love of booze. Both qualities I can't help but admire. Call it whatever you want, Frank. But one thing's for sure, this is the uniform you need to play Colonel Blade and impress your lady friend. She's not my lady friend. Come on, Matthew, let's go see Veronica before I strangle Hannah.
Please don't do this to my son. He's very sensitive. Have you read the printout?
How the uniform perfectly fits Frank?
He has no idea what it means.
Detective Knight, you are a delight. Never seen a soldier so dashing, but you're still no Colonel Blade. What? My great ancestor always wore a southern magnolia flower on his uniform, and by golly, if you want to play the part, you'll have to wear one too. I have to wear a flower now? I don't know about that. Oh, fine, Matthew. I guess we can have a look around the plantation house. Thank you. I knew I could depend on the kindness of strangers. Please, Ranger Matthew, have this burger to help you in your search.
It's not a victim. I need to talk to her. Fine. She'll tell you she adores her big brother.
Screw her innocence and then slice her up. This is about your sister Lizette?
No.
You telling me there's another 5-year-old out there who pisses you off so much? Believe me, I know what a pain little sisters can be. Just tell me what you did.
She melts in my favorite CD and makes a cake of it.
Well, that sucks. What did you do?
Nothing. I never do anything.
Okay, Ness. No.
It's like a release valve.
Knife. Bible.
Have these thoughts a lot?
Son,
What are you so angry about?
stuff.
What kind of stuff?
Life is really stressful, you know.
I know mine is. I do the dirt bags every day. Yesterday there was this case. These 4 guys, gang rapers, detective, let me hear the details.
Bird's nest.
You don't think this is about how they beat her up, and they degraded her, and when she begged for mercy, they defecated on her. He wants to act like an adult predator. I'll talk to him like one. You really want to
Wait, weren't we looking for a flower? Why did you pick up that bird's nest, Matthew? Why did you pick that bird's nest up, Matthew? Do you think we might find a magnolia inside? That's a little crazy, but let me know if you have any luck.
I have a new game on play.
You know what? Maybe later. But we need to finish talking about JJ first, okay? Okay. So, listen, I need you to show me on this doll all the places with JJ.
There it is.
Okay? And has he ever even looked this up?
I must say I'm slightly impressed that you found that magnolia among the bird's nests. I'll put it on. Oh wow, I look like a perfect Unionist soldier. Do you think Veronica will like it? I'm not blushing, Matthew. I'm probably just flushed from the brandy I snuck a swig of. Let's go show Miss Blade.
Now listen, I need to talk to Beverly and Erica. Does your mommy know where they are?
Show it to Veronica.
What hospital?
Ooh, if it isn't Colonel Blade as I live and breathe. Jazztown won't forget this reenactment anytime soon. Now, Ranger Matthew, you'll need to be in the reenactment as well. I'm gonna fetch you some real fine clothes, you'll see. You think she liked me in the uniform, Matthew? Maybe I'll start wearing this to work every day. We should practice our lines for the reenactment. I want to blow this part out of the water. Don't be shy, Matthew. You'll be fine in the show. As long as you don't get struck down by a cannonball, that is.
He's a boy. Boys break their sisters' dolls.
He mutilated 23 of them, all in the genital area. He's emotionally disturbed.
You're a psychiatrist, are you?
No.
Oh boy, I don't know if it's the Jazztown era or what, but I feel 10 years younger.
Consent form to commit JJ for
It's good to see you so smartly dressed for once, Frank. A nice change from that Hawaiian shirt you always wear. And thanks for agreeing to help me investigate the puppeteer, Matthew. I got so caught up in it, I forgot I could always rely on you. Oh my gosh, guys, it's another hurricane is coming. They say it's aiming straight for Jazztown. Another hurricane? You've got to be kidding me. Quick, Matthew, we need to help Jazztown evacuate before it's too late.
To a 72-hour hold.
Learn anything from the neighbors?
Yeah, that he should be locked in a rubber room permanently.
What's he done?
Traumatizes every top in the building, screams at him until he's red in the face.
About what?
Any little thing like looking at him the wrong way.
Yeah, he locked the fuel up in the utility closet, convinced them they were going to be murdered. They cried for an hour before he let them out.
Dad smoothed it out with the parents and all expensive gifts.
Worse by excusing it. This kid is a ticking time bomb. Let's just call it school and see.
Okay, that will do. And for now, I'll see you guys for the next case. I'm going to take the week off, so see you then.